Hello, subscribers. This is going to be the Lantian 105 carbon fiber frame, the E-Sheen 3 blade, and the 8.5 by 20 motor. I'm going to build a quad using this for an FPV. So building that. Ooh. Cool. Okay. Motors and props. So this thing should rip. Use the flight controller out of this. These motors and props. So it comes with the grommets and everything for this frame. Ooh, she's pretty flexy. So I'll do a build video on this. I'm going to sand the edges of this just to knock them down. You can use several different things. I use fingernail files. That works good. Just to knock that sharp edge off of there. And carbon fiber dust is not good for you to breathe, so don't be breathing all of the carbon fiber dust when you're sanding it off. And then after I get it all sanded and smoothed out, I'm gonna go over the edges with some super glue. I'll just trace the edges and kind of seals up the edges, and then after that it's also kind of acts like a primer. It helps the paint marker to stick a little better. And once you get all the edges softened, just don't glue your fingers to it, or at least try not to. And if you do, acetone will release the super glue. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. Lighting's not all the best, but it makes it all look like one solid piece. It gives it like a kind of a clear coat or something over it. Same thing to the little top plate here. Nice. Just like that. Let that dry for a minute. This stuff dries really fast. Even with the super glue on it, sometimes it takes 2 coats to get a full, nice, unbled through color, because you're trying to cover black with a lighter color, so it does take a little while. But it really helps with the super glue, and the super glue is supposed to help strengthen the carbon fiber from chipping on the edges. And set that aside to dry. And I can start stripping this thing. You could probably use a CX10. The reason I like using this one, is because I can bind to it with a couple different transmitters. The Cyma F3, my helicopter, 4-channel helicopter remote, and then I'll just take and desolder. This battery's no good. I'm just gonna clip this lead. The battery's junk anyways. It didn't hold a charge. So then I can remember, well, I think there's a little positive and a negative by those 2 terminals anyways. But these little motors, and just pull them out. And this one, I think I'm going to clip the LEDs off this one. I have to do some trimming and some filing on that board to make the board fit. I thought it was different the way the motors soldered in there. So basically I could probably clean off a patch over here and just cut those all the way back. on and off switch on it too. Now I just need to clean up those little ends that I cut off there, so I can put a little dab of solder on them. You can see I kind of cleaned that one up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pop these grommets through. Be careful when you're putting these through. They're plastic and it's kind of sketchy. I want to snap your frame. Take your time, it's not a race. And the rest of them the same way, just like that. And then you can put the motor cups on. Just make sure when you're putting them on, it's going between the metal there and the metal there, so you're not pushing the wire down in there and cutting it on the well, before I do that, see the holes on the bottom. They're for venting. You don't really want to plug them up, so I'll just drill a hole with a drill in the bottom of these cups. See little holes there. And it still has plenty of little bump protection on the bottom. Red and blue are clockwise. And the clockwise ones are going to spin inward. I wet it down a little bit when I did that. I kind of licked the wire a little bit. But it's still kind of scary. Clockwise rotates in.
hard part is the board has to go in that way. Then I gotta try to solder the wires on there. And now to test it out. These are the batteries I'll be trying out with. Oh, they're only 300 milliamp hour, but it should be able to work to test it out. Little toy transmitter, the Sima F3. It's for my 4-channel helicopter. Whoa, that's scary. So it looks like they're all turning the proper direction. I can't tell if the battery's dead because I cut the LEDs off, and usually the LEDs flash when it's dead. But I'm sure that's what it is. Okay, it all works. So now I'm just gonna double-sided servo tape that down onto there. Suppose I should probably put my standoffs back in. covering the whole bottom just so it doesn't short anything out. Now the fun part, try to peel the tape off the layer that's covered. Sorry, forgot I was trying to do it on camera. The board looks pretty flat. I'm gonna put a dab of glue on the antenna there, just right across there so it doesn't pull out. Almost ready to take it for a rip, see if it flies. I'm gonna put a little dab of hot glue on the edges there. Just like that. Now I can finish screwing the rest of it together. Let's see if I can do it for a little test hover. I should plug these batteries in to charge these batteries up. I'm gonna have to buy some bigger batteries. That's a pretty sweet looking little frame. Getting a little bit of a mess going on here. There's still a ton of room inside of that frame. Obviously with this control board, with this flight controller, it's not going to have acro, but I mean it's a $15 flight board. That's all I paid for that little quad like last year. Ta-da, look at that, cute. And then my FPV will go on the front. They even supply you with rubber bands in the frame package. So we'll see if this battery's any good. Blowing stuff everywhere. It flies. We'll see if I get some flight video here. have any batteries that hold a charge, but it flies pretty good.